Very good evening, fellow Foundrymen. On behalf of the Institute of Indian Foundrymen Chennai chapter, this is our 16th program under the chairmanship of Mr. V.K. Raman, and 4th program which is being conducted jointly between MMA and Chennai chapter. So to get this started, may I now request Mr. V.K. Raman, the chairman of Chennai chapter, to welcome the gathering.
Good evening to all, fellow Foundrymen. So every month, the last week of the month, IIF Chennai chapter is conducting such a programs, which was well appreciated by all the members. Especially last month, we conducted a program called music therapy. That means sound therapy for enhancing the energy, which was conducted by a lady, Sunita. And before that, we conducted one program called from the world of cricket, how we can learn the management lessons. So that was also taught very nicely. So the similar way, today also we are going to talk about emotions. Normally all the Foundrymen especially will have more emotions. So whenever any truth or facts are hidden to the Foundryman, then he will become emotional. So that is the nature of Foundryman. So in that context, I welcome all the members of MMA and IIF fellow Foundrymen for this wonderful program. I also welcome Mr. Viswanathan for this program. So please attend the program fully. You can raise your questions, whatever the doubts you can raise at the end of the program. So he will be in a position to give clarification. So once again, welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Now to introduce our speaker for the day, I now request Mr. R. Palanimurugan, Honorary Secretary, Southern Region IIF, to do the info.
Good evening, friends. I am honored to introduce Mr. V.V. Viswanathan. He is an experienced corporate trainer and consultant, visiting faculty for ITM B schools, and an author with over 3 decades of experience in senior level positions in India and abroad. He is a postgraduate in management and a graduate in electrical engineering. His certifications include PMP, that is Project Management Professional, then Supply Chain Management Professional, Lean Expert, DC Psychology, Emotional Intelligence Practitioner, Master Behavioral Skills Trainer, Master Diploma in Training, NLP Practitioner. He is a professional member of Global Trainers Federation. He has conducted many training sessions for corporates and college students. He writes regularly and is an author of the book and Impeach Grandpa. Am I right? Yes. Right, sorry. So I welcome Mr. V. Viswanathan to share his thing amongst us. Please welcome.
Good evening to all of you. Yeah, Mr. V.K. Raman, Chairman of IIFF, office bearers, members of Indian Institute of Foundrymen, members of Madras Management Association. It's really a pleasure and privilege to meet you all today for this program on managing emotions, a colored brain approach. Right. Yeah. So before we get into the session, I would like to have a small activity. So on the screen you are having a sort of a maze. So the target is you have to take the crown which is at the top. So I would like you to suggest how you can go. Any of you can think of it. Maybe if it is slightly larger, could be better, but anyway. Outside? Okay. So please give a round of applause to those who said outside. Because generally when there is a maze, our tendency is to assume that we have to go inside only. And this is particularly designed that whatever path you take, you will not be able to go there. You have to only go outside. And there was no rule, because I didn't have any rules saying that you should not go outside. So, but generally we tend to assume that we have to go inside only, and very rarely we think out of the box. And that's also the option, and in this case that's the only option, right? You can go either this side or the other side, right? So, but why do we have all these assumptions? That's what the whole session is about, the assumptions, and how our brain makes us to think in this way. So that's the essence of today's session. So we have so many assumptions, right? So in this case we thought that we should take the path inside, and similarly we have many other assumptions in life that we want to say, you know, we have assumptions like somebody has to follow my way of working, right? So many of us say that we have a certain methodology, and we expect others also to follow the exact methodology without any deviation. So the other person may be very creative and he may deliver the end result, but still we will say, no, yes, you have to do only as per my method. So A, B, C, D, this is the path that you have to follow. No other deviations are accepted. So that's what we tend to think. So not only that, so that this is one of the assumptions. And similarly, we have a series of assumptions. Like for example, we may think that people from Kerala, they are, you know, we may try to brand them saying that they are good in only these things, and for certain things, or maybe people from Andhra, people from Tamil Nadu will be able to do only these jobs. So many assumptions we have, right? So all these assumptions are because of the way our brain has been formed, and of course the experience that we gain over a period of time. But in all, the brain structure, it affects a lot of our assumptions, right? So the many of the assumptions are formed because of the way the brain is genetically formed, right? So that's why we can call our brain as a processor, right? So it's a processor, and so many assumptions we have inside our brain. And all of this, what we are going to talk is about the way brain is formed genetically. So that's what is quite interesting. And today's topic is colored brain, right? So when we say colored brain, there are many questions that will come to your mind. Is the brain colored, right? Is the brain like the colors what we see here? There is one is a blue glass and other is a red glass. So is the brain colored? No, it's the normal color what we see in the laboratory, right? The brain we would have all seen either in the picture, or that's the color of the brain. So there is no other color other than what we have seen. Then why do we say as a colored brain then? Colored brain because we have categorized the brain into 4 different categories, right? So one is the green brain, the other is the red brain, the next is the blue and the purple. So 4 different colors we will be discussing today, all the characteristics of the 4 different brains. So why color? Then why do we have these 4 colors? Is because for easy understanding, right? So we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, but it will be a bit difficult to understand. So for easy reference purpose, we have identified as 4 different colors. And each color, we will see what are the characteristics of the brain genetically, and what is the plus point of the brain, what is the negative point, and then slowly you can start reflecting, is my brain something like this, right? So keep on asking that question, and then probably towards the end you will have more clarity, right? Because only when you see all the 4 brains, you will be able to get more clarity, right? So we'll go one by one. And why do we say it's a processor? So we all know Intel is a processor, right? So Intel is a processor, and it has got certain capacities. And in Intel also we have got so many types of processors, i3, i4, i5, i6, i7, and then we have Android processors, AMD processors. So each processor has got certain special characters or special capacities. So our brain is also a very good processor. It's a processor, and the processor is the hardware, right? And with the processor, what we do is we write a software, and with that software we are able to do so many things, right? So hardware without software, there is no use. So a combination of hardware plus software is what we use to get so much of output, right? So the question comes is, the hardware is genetically what we get is we are getting it, as something from our previous generation or from our parents. Right? So that's the hardware part. So can we do something with it? Yes, it is possible with the software, right? So basically it's a processor, and in this processor, so we talked about 4 different colors of brains. So the first brain color is the green brain. So we are now going to discuss about the characteristics of the green brain. So when we say green brain, so you will see the word, the chaotic processor. Chaotic processing is chaos. Chaos, you know that it's a lot of confusion, but it doesn't mean the people with green brain, they are all confused. No, it's not the meaning. But why it is a chaotic processing is the way they analyze the information, right? So if you see the picture here, you will see there is the brain, and then you got some one piece is there, then the second piece, third piece, and all these pieces are not connected, right? So you have piece 1, piece 2, and then again there is it gets into some shape, and finally the bulb. So for the bulb to glow, that is what when we say that our brain lights up, right? So for the bulb to glow, you need to follow a certain pattern, and green brain picks up all these bits of information and then comes to some conclusion about the course of action, right? So that is the essence of the green brain. So we said that it's all bits and pieces of information it takes and then proceeds. But how does it get clarity, right? Each brain has to get the clarity. Then only they will be able to take an action, right? So for the green brain to get clarity, these are all the 4 different things. Like the first one is, for the green brain, nothing is connected. So that's what we saw, all these bits and pieces. So things are not connected for the green brain. And the second is, they must act to understand. This is the most important aspect of the green brain. So what does it mean when you say that you have to act to understand? Which means, if you tell them, for the green brain, if you tell them lots of instructions and all, they will become restless. So immediately they will want to take some action, right? And through that action they get clarity. So for example, if a teacher is teaching how to do this a laboratory experiment, so the green brain will not be he will not be in a position to quietly listen. So there will be an urge in the person to do it. So he or she will try to come to the front, and then given a chance, they will try to do that, and through that they will try to understand, right? So that is the whole crux of the green brain. So they need to act to understand. And I think in even in the classroom, I think in the hall we are discussing about the big picture. So they see the big picture. So for them the big picture is very, very important, right? So what do we mean by big picture? So they are not concerned about all the small details. They have a big picture running in front of them. So for example, if there is a movie, so imagine that they have to shoot a movie, then they will have all that movie screen will be in their mind. But who is the actor, what is the budget, and all those things, they will not be having the clarity. So how do they get that clarity then? So they will say, so can I fix Rajinikanth? Okay, then somebody will say, no, Rajinikanth is very costly. Okay, then go for Kamal Haasan. No, Kamal Haasan is also right now not available. Okay, no problem. So that is the thing, find the alternatives. The green-brained people are excellent in finding alternatives. So they will keep on, if one option is not working out, they will go to the next option, try that, and then, take some action. So they are highly action-oriented people. They will take some action, and then from that action, when they take an action without so much of information, what happens? So it can go wrong, correct? So it can go wrong. It can become a success, but the possibilities of going wrong are much more. So that is the thing with the green brain. But even if they fall down, right? Even if they make a mistake, they are quick to get up. They are not people who are, they will get upset. So okay, I tried this, it didn't click. So let me make another move. So like that, they will keep on exploring, and then through the trial and error, through the mistakes, they will keep on learning, and then they will reach the end destination. So the movie is there, the big picture was there, but how to shoot that and all those things may not be there. But still, they may say, okay, I'll do that. So you have no experience in making a movie, doesn't matter, I'll try. So that's the approach they will take, and they will ultimately reach their goal. So that's the green brain. Right. So one more example of this green brain, I think the recent movie of Jailer, if any of you had watched the director's interview, he was mentioning, Director Nelson was giving an interview, and in that he was mentioning about the producer. So how he had an interaction with the producer. So the producer, he was telling, producer's assistant only will be directly contacting, and the assistant was telling, he had a meeting with when the film was finalized. So what happened was the assistant called Nelson to his, I think, house, or maybe in the lawns they were walking. And when they were walking, the assistant was walking, and then he said, no, we are interested in doing a movie with you. And as he was talking, then there was a call from the producer, right? I think it is Kalanidhi Maran. So he was giving a call, and something he was asking, and then within 2 minutes again another call. No, change that. No, another action. So third action, fourth action. So Nelson says, I was really worried. Every few minutes an instruction comes, and you don't do this, don't do that, like that. It was keeping on coming, and finally he said, after giving a series of instructions, again he said, no, drop that. You go to some other thing. Then Nelson was asking, what happened? No, this job he himself did. So that is the type of the green brain. So it's a typical example of a green brain. They keep on changing. They keep on changing their goalposts, but the end picture, or the big picture, is there in their mind. With that, they are ready to explore any amount of mistakes. They are not bothered, and they'll connect. So if you see again going back to this picture, all these are bits and pieces of information, but somehow they will connect it through actions, right? So that's the key essence of the green brain, right? So now let's find out some of the plus points of the green brain. So what do you think are the plus points of green brain? So any of you can say, what are the plus points of the green brain?
Risk takers.
Risk takers, right? So they are risk takers, right? They are task masters. Okay. Action oriented, right? Exactly. They are action oriented. They need ready to change. Yeah, correct. Ready to change, because they think of other options, alternatives. So they are ready to change, right? So these are all the plus points. Coming to the minus points.
Indecisive.
Indecisive? No, not indecisive. But we can't say indecisive. They will take a decision, and then whether it is right or wrong could be different. Yeah.
Possibility of more failures.
Possibility of more failures, correct. So that is because they take so much of risk, there is a possibility of failures.
So if this guy is a leader, his subordinates should be in trouble. Means they don't know how to move.
Okay, we will come to the end of it, right? When we
the other side is the subordinates will learn more.
Both are right, correct. But as he was mentioning, it will be a bit of a challenge to work with a green brain boss, because he will keep on giving instructions, changing the goalpost, but it will be a great experience. Both are right. So these are the minus points, right? Okay. So we saw the strength of the green brain, we saw the negative aspects of the green brain, right? Now we will move to the next brain, which is the red brain. So when we say red brain, again we talked about the green brain. We said it is a chaotic processing. Chaos because it is moving out in a very, very different way. Now the red brain is a linear processing, right? So the word itself, linear, so very organized. And if you see the diagram, how the brain gets clarity, so they join piece 1, 2, 3, and then there are 3 pieces. They now joined it into 2 pieces. Then again from that 2 pieces they again bring a bigger piece, and then they get the clarity. So this is how the red brain works. So the red brain is more of a very structured person, right? So again, before I move to the red brain, so how many of you think that you are possibly green brain? So maybe you can raise your hand. Yeah, okay. We could see a few of you. Yeah, yes.
Maybe partly green brain.
Partly green, yeah. This is also thing we will come to when we come to the end of it, all these things will get more clarity, right? So the green brain, more of action-oriented people we saw. Now the red brain, very linear way, very structured, right? So they go step by step. And so what are the special characteristics of the red brain? The first thing is they need clarity. Before doing a job, they need clarity, right? So they need to know why they are doing it. Okay. So to give you an example, so let's say a father is asking his son, go and get 1,000 rupees from a friend. Okay. So the green brain, if the person is the son is a green brain, he will not ask questions. First thing he will run and then come back. Dad, you asked me to get 1,000 rupees. What for? So that is what the green brain's approach will be. First he will run because action. And from that, then he may go and then ask the friend. And he said, no, not me. Oh, you are not the person. Okay, I'll ask. Again, he'll go back to the father. Dad, you said, no, even before I completed my sentence, he went out. So that will be the green brain. But if in the same situation, if it is the red brain, the red brain will first question red brain will ask, Dad, why should I go and get this 1,000 rupees? That will be the question number one. And the second question will be, okay, he says, okay, this is the need, I have a need and I have to get this money. Then he'll say, why you should get it from your friend? Why not other options? Right? So all these questions, because before doing the action, the person has to get a clarity. Right? Without clarity, if the person is asked to do a job, maybe in the office situation, what we may do is, as a boss, like he was telling, as a boss, we give an instruction, the red brain may not have a choice, being somebody working under the team. So they will be doing the job, but still in their mind, they will feel that something is missing. I'm not very, very comfortable in doing the job, but because I have to do the job, I'll do that, right? So they will not be at their best. So that is what happens if they don't have clarity, right? So that is the essence of it. The essence of the red brain is they need clarity before doing the job. The next thing is they are very logical. They need the logic, and then they are very objective, right? The logical in the sense they need to. So again, they asked all the questions, and if something there is logic is missing, again they will not be able to do that, right? So if the dad says you have to get it, and for the son the logic is not appealing, then he will say, no, Dad, I am still not convinced. So these people have to be convinced before they get into the action. So they are very, very logical people and quite objective. Objective in the sense they are not subjective. So subjective means people based. So the subjective people are, if some X says something, they will do it, and Y says something, they may hesitate because they are subjective orientation. But these people are objective. So whoever says, fine, as long as it is logical, as long as I get the clarity, fine with me. So that is how they will work. So they are very objective and very logical. And the next one, they go step by step, right? So if they are asked to climb the stairs, so they will go step 1, step 2, step 3. That's how they will go. They will not jump 2 steps and then another 2 steps. No, they have to go step by step. So this is the way they proceed. So again, going back to a classroom thing, and if the teacher is teaching, okay, imagine the teacher is a green-brained teacher, and the teacher is teaching a few steps, and teacher may be a brilliant teacher, maybe from IIT, IIM, and the teacher is teaching, and for the teacher, things are very clear, so he or she misses a few steps and then goes. The student, if he is a red-brained student, he will get stuck. Like a voltage dip, the student will be, some steps are missing. What happened? The missing link will make them more worried. So they need to have this step-by-step approach. You have to go step by step, then it will be very clear for them, right? Then they will find the structure, right? So whatever task you give, because they need clarity, so they ask for all the questions, then they get clarity, then they are very logical, they go step by step, and then they build a very good structure. It's structure in the sense they are very structured in their work, okay, and they have a very structured way of working. Whatever job you give or everything will be a very structured way of working. Right. Talk about purple brain. You may find some similarities between red and purple, but there is again a lot of difference. Once we go to the purple brain, we will look into that, right? So again, on the red brain, Will Smith, is a popular Hollywood actor, and he was giving an interview once, and it's available in the web. And in that interview, he narrates a story. I think when they were children, when he was a child, he and his brother, they were once playing, and then his father had a shop, and in front of the shop he had a wall, and one fine day the father demolished the wall, and then he said, he called his two sons, and then sons, you have to build this wall. And these people, they were, why this wall has to be demolished, and then why we have to build? They were a bit confused. But then they said, no. They were quite hesitant also. They said, no, it will be difficult. No, he said, no, do it. You can do it. And then they started, right? From zero, both the brothers started. And Will Smith says that we dug about 6 feet deep pit, because the foundation has to be there for the wall. And they mixed the concrete by hand, and brick by brick. And that whole video, it says brick by brick by brick, we built this wall. So that's exactly the red brain, right? They go step by step by step. So the lesson that the father wanted to teach them is, if you go step by step by step, anything is possible to be achieved, right? So because it is quite likely that the father was a red brain person, and he wanted to teach his sons that if you go step by step, anything, it's a daunting task, building a compound wall with two small children, and they did it. And he says it took us 1.5 years, but at the end of it, we had a wall in front of us, and it was done step by step, and not exact. The exact words he says is, we will build it brick by brick by brick, right? So that is how this red brain people are wired. So it's all a wiring. So they have to go step by step. They need clarity. They need logic, right? So now tell me, what is the plus point of the red brain? They are systematic, right? Yeah. Methodical, systematic, right? Structured, yeah. Successful. Okay, we will come to that slightly. Low failure rate. Yeah, they will. The way they do that. Yes. Okay.
They build the confidence before moving.
They build the confidence before moving, right? Because they have to get the clarity. Once they get the clarity, they will be able to do that, right? Well planned, correct. Yeah, well planned.
They will be self-led people, because they are able to organize and do things on their own.
Okay.
They will not wait for external instructions to come.
Okay. So, okay. What you say is they are self-motivated, self-driven, self-led people. Okay. So
There will be a lot of consequences.
Okay. Self-led. Okay. We'll hold that for a moment. We'll come back to that. Right. Cautious. Yeah. Definitely cautious. Yes. Because they want the system to be in place. So they are cautious. Right. They are not risk takers as the green brain. Right. Okay. What is the negative aspect of these people? More time. Yeah, more time compared to the...
During any emergency or sudden change, they were not able to perform.
Correct, yeah. So suddenly if you ask them to do the job, there is let's say there is a fire or something, run means, at that time you cannot ask questions. Why should I run? Why is there a fire? This is the time to run, right? So they may have difficulty in adjusting to those emergencies, right? Because they don't have clarity, they may have some difficulties, right? So that's one of the minus points, and they may take time, less risk takers, right? All of them are perfectly right. Okay.
Many account side will be
Many?
accounts people.
Accounts people. Okay. Again, we can't generalize, right? We can't, right now we'll not be able to generalize, but let's see, right? That's again a valid point. Okay. Now we'll go to the third one, which is the blue brain. We call this as an intuitive processing brain. This brain is an intuition means you all know, no? That you get that light, suddenly something comes, intuition, right? Some spark comes. So they are more driven by intuitions. So again, if you look at their brain structure and how they get the clarity, Okay, so the brain is there. So you have some long lines, right? And some parallel lines also are there going on there. And through that they get the clarity. So, which means that they get lots of intuition, and they are more feelings driven. So the key word for the blue brain people is the feelings, emotions and feelings. We are talking about handling emotions. So blue brain people are more of emotional type of people, right? So they are more driven by emotions. So emotions will decide most of their actions, right? Unlike the green brain, for them action first. The red brain more of logic, clarity, all those things. For these people it's more of emotions, feelings. Okay, something more for them is everything is connected, right? So again we'll give some examples of that. So everything is connected for them, and they feel the environment, right? So the entire environment is very important for them. They are quite intuitive, we said, and they'll be able to do multitasking. At a time they'll be able to do many jobs. So everything is connected, and how do they get the connection is, see, for example, so let's say they are organizing a wedding. So they are the event managers for a wedding. So they will connect, right? So who is you give the responsibility to them of fixing the cook, fixing the priest, fixing the DJ, fixing the hall. So they will have some connections. So if so and so is the cook and so is the decoration person, this combination will work out well. How they decide? It's all intuition, right? So they feel that this will work out well, and through that they will say, yes, this is the combination that we have to go, and they will connect very quickly. So connecting the dot, there is a very good speech by Steve Jobs. That entire lecture, I think it was delivered in Harvard, I believe, right? So Stanford lecture, and the whole topic is connecting the dots. So it's something that happened in his childhood, and something later, 10 years later, and again another 10 years, he connects all the 3 dots and says there is some meaning and purpose in the way things happened, and he connects. So life is all about connecting the dots. So quite possibly he was a blue-brained person. And so blue brain, so they need to connect. They will connect everything. They will have those feelings of intuition, and the environment is very important. So blue brain people, like for example, if a blue brain person comes here, they will look at the ambience, how the AC is working, all those things. The external ambience, the internal ambience, how people treat them, all those things are very important. Suddenly somebody says, very bad about them, they will go very deep into their shell, and it is very difficult for them to come out, because they are more of feelings oriented people. Whereas a green brain person, if you say, oh, is it? Okay, fine. So they are very quick to get up and then do that. Red brain, if you say if you're criticizing me, there is some logic in it, okay, I'll accept it. If there is no logic, so they will not be unduly bothered. But blue brain, whether it is right or wrong, it affects their emotions. So blue brain people, handling blue brain people, you have to be, you have to take extra care not to hurt them. So that's very, very important. So they take care of the environment, they care for that. And intuitive, we already said that they are driven by intuition, and the most importantly, they are capable of multitasking. So we generally know all our women folk, most of them, they will be cooking, attending a phone call, preparing lunch for their children, and then packing their husband. All these things they'll be able to do with ease. Okay, so they are naturally multitasking people. But anybody with the blue brain will be able to do multitasking. So if you are able to do multitasking very comfortably, probably you may be a blue brain person, right? So what is the plus point of the blue brain people?
When there is a good ambience, they will perform, excel in their work or achieve.
Correct. If the ambience is good, if the way people treat them is good, right? So they will be able to give very, very well. Their performance will be very good. And if it is the other way about, even though they may be very good, their performance will droop or drop, right? So anything else, any other plus point of the blue brain? Multitasking, right? Multitasking. They will be able to do many things at the same time. Very comfortably they will be able to do. That's the plus point of them. Anything else? On the negative side?
They may need more motivation from others.
Yeah, they may need more motivation from others. Encouragement. Any other negative aspects? possibility of making mistakes. Intuitive, correct. Yeah. No, yeah. So their decisions will be governed by intuition, correct. So could be their decisions can go wrong. True. And one more drawback of the blue-brained is because they are so sensitive, so emotional. Sometimes they may try to help people who are, like for example, they may take it upon themselves that they are the cause for the problem of somebody else. For example, a servant maid is working in your house, and the maid is coming and asking, can you give me 10 lakhs of rupees because I need for some emergency. So the green brain person, if it is there, he or she will give. Red brain, the first question will be, why do you need this money? Right? So they need the logic. But the blue brain, immediately they will want to give because they are so emotional, they are so sensitive. They want to connect with them and they want to give the money. And if they are not able to give the money, and something happens, like for example, the maid's husband needs to undergo a surgery, and for that this help is asked, and you don't have money, you don't have 10 lakhs. Suddenly 10 lakhs, giving 10 lakhs may not be possible. But they may feel, something happens to the husband, or he is hospitalized. They will feel, because I didn't give, that is the reason this girl is suffering, or my maid is suffering. Though those two are not exactly interconnected, but they will try to connect that. So we saw the connections, no? So because I didn't give, this girl is suffering, this maid is suffering. So all those things will be. So they will have that sympathy and yeah.
So they will go out of the way.
They will go out of the way to
Get trapped.
Yeah, they may. Yeah, that's the negative aspect, right? So that's a word for caution for them. They may get trapped because they are so sensitive, so emotional. They may get trapped, right?
Mostly they will trap.
It depends again. Yeah. So yeah. So that is the reason. Understanding all these brains will help us to navigate all the minus points. Okay. Now comes the fourth brain, which is the purple brain, and we call it as a relational processing. Okay. So relational processing. When we say relational processing, okay. Now before I go, anybody whom you think your red brain, how many of you think you're more logical, clarity you need? So
Mostly red brain.
Mostly red.
According to the context,
It could change.
go to green
Right.
or blue also.
Okay, right, fine. Anybody, yeah, any other people who think you could be red? Okay, we can see some of you, yeah. Red brain, mostly. Combination of, right. Combination of other things. Management people are always red. Okay, we'll come to that, right. Right. And any of you think your blue brain more, okay, more of sympathy, empathy, feelings, intuition, right?
Combination of green and blue.
Combination of green and blue. Okay. We will see the combinations also. Right. Now we come to the purple brain, and purple brain we see it's a relational processing, and you can see how the brain gets clarity here. So compared to the earlier thing, here you are seeing so many connections, right? So there is number one block, and then the second square, the third, fourth, a combination of inputs, they are connecting it, and then they get the clarity. So which means the purple brain people, for them to take an action, what is required is data. Exactly. Yeah, please give a big round of applause. So data, they are data driven people. Data and information is what they need. So without data and information, if you ask them to do, they'll find it very, very difficult. So they need data, more data. Like that they need data, right? So they need all the information. So for example, if a purple brain person, you're asking him to book a ticket. So let's say he's in your admin department and you ask him to book a ticket. So the first thing he will do is Google to some website and then find the ticket fare from Chennai to Delhi, and then he will ask his friend, what is the fare? And then somebody who has traveled last week, so how much did you pay? And then they will again go to some other website. So much of information they will collect, and decision they will try to keep on postponing it, because they still feel that they have not got the perfect answer, right? So that is the plus and minus of the purple brain. Okay. Search oriented, right. So they, research oriented and searching for information, right. Research and then searching for information. So they need to have information. Without information, purple brain people will not be at their best. So they need so much of information. And all data they will link it. So much of data they will collect, and then finally they will link all the data, and they will find a system, very good system they will find. That more importantly, they need to know the options. So everything they need to option. So plan A fails, what is plan B? So if plan B fails, what is plan C? So all the options will be there, and then only they will jump to action, right? So they are not ready to jump into action, just like the green brain. Okay, so this is the purple brain. So they need to have information, and they link all the data. They will find an excellent system and all the options. So without options and all, if you ask them to proceed to the work, very difficult for them, right? So what do you think is the plus point of a purple brain person? Perfection, right. So perfection is their plus point. So because they get all this information, so they strive to be perfect. Whether they are perfect or not, again it's a combination of the information that they get, right, and plus their other qualities, but they strive to be perfect, right.
And success rate is more
accurate, yeah, they try to be accurate, they want to be accurate.
Capable to analyze the information.
They are capable of analyzing all the information, right. Anything else?
They can manage a complex
type of projects, yeah, but again they can manage, but they need all the information. They'll collect information and then proceed with that. What is the minus point? What do you think is the weaknesses? Procrastination, right. Procrastination is one of the typical minus points of.
Too much data, they may get confused also.
Too much data, they may get confused also. That's also quite possible, right. What we call it as an analysis paralysis, right. So they keep on collecting data, so finally they are not able to come to a decision, right. So analysis paralysis is a very, very important drawback of these people, right. So we saw the plus points, we also saw the minus points.
Not time conscious?
Not time conscious, yes. Yeah. So because they will not be driven by urgencies. Right? So
will be delayed.
Outcome will be delayed. But the thing is, if you are ready to wait for if you give them that space and the time, then they will come out with a very good system. I will see an example also, right. So this case study, what happened is one of the executives, he was going in a flight, and then in his company the IT system was very bad. So it needed a lot of improvement, and the present IT person, he was not quite happy. So he wanted to hire somebody who is an expert in IT, and so that they wanted to align everything, their marketing department, their production department, everything they wanted to bring into their IT system, and then they wanted to move to the next level. So the CEO was looking for a very efficient person in IT, and while he was going in a flight, somebody next to him was sitting, and then when they were having a conversation, he realized that this person is very good in IT. Okay, so he said, will you be interested in joining my office, joining my company? Then they discussed. The salaries were, it was negotiated on the flight itself. It was quite higher than what he had expected. So he said, yes, I am ready to join. So the appointment order was given, the person joined, and the task was given. So the CEO explained, these are the people, these are the resources for you, and what we need is that we need a new IT system which will take us to the next level. So he started collecting information, and week 1, 2, 3, 4 was over. The CEO thought within 4 weeks things will be, some improvement will be there. So first month CEO goes and then talks to the new IT guy, and on his table so much of files are there, nothing, no proper output is there. He was completely shocked. So I thought I hired the best person, and I have given 1 month's time, and I could see nothing, because all the people, the way he is working, very, very disorganized. So he was quite upset, but he said, okay, let me give one more chance to this person. And he said he was ready to wait another 4 weeks. he was waiting, and then the next round again when he came, again the situation was very similar to that, not much of improvement. So now he decided, okay, I made a wrong decision. Okay, probably he was a green brain. So quickly he recruited, and so he decided, okay, I made a mistake. So it's time I ask this person to quit. But again, something he thought, okay, let me give one last chance. So one more month, and if no improvement is there, I'll sack this guy. So the third month was over, and then third month when he comes, this person's office is very clean, very well organized. And then when the CEO is asking, have you done something? He says, yes sir, I have done it. So he says, this is file number 1 for marketing, this is file number 2 for operations department, this is the way we have to, this is the SOP for the HR department. All those things are very clearly there. And he says, this is in the hard copy, this is the soft copy, and this is, I put it in the cloud. So if this option doesn't work out, I have the option B. So the CEO was shocked. A month ago when I went, completely it was in shambles. And within 4 weeks, how did this miracle happen? It's not a miracle. It's because he is a purple brain person. He needed all those information before jumping into a system, before finding the structure, before finding a way out. Right? So that's when he got all those things, then finally he was able to come out. So that's what we saw earlier. No? So they will be able to find a system, and that will be one of the best system, provided you give them the time. So then he realized, now this guy is really my decision is not wrong. Only thing, had I sacked him last month, probably we would not have seen the light of this work. So that is the purple brain, right? So you need to give them time, and if you give time, yes, definitely they will be able to perform. Okay, now we saw the 4 different brains. And now how do we connect it with our own brain? If you look at our brain, we have on the top of the brain, we have the cognitive brain, and in the center portion is the limbic brain, is where all our emotions are stored, and in the last portion is where the spinal cord is connected, is what we call as the reptilian brain. And reptilian brain is that's also all the 3 functions are very, very essential for us. Reptilian brain does all the the instantaneous actions, like your blood circulation, breathing, and all involuntary movements, and all those things are happening because of the reptilian brain. And it doesn't, there is no reasoning in the reptilian brain. So for example, if somebody slaps me, immediately I will slap him. So because the reptilian brain says, that's the fast, it says, it's you have to protect. Somebody is hitting you, protect. So very fast reaction will be there from the reptilian brain. If you are not allowing time, okay, the second thing is the limbic brain, where all the emotions are stored. So when we give some more time, even just a few more seconds, in the limbic brain all the emotions are stored. Like for example, you have, maybe we are now 30, 40, 50, our age, but we may be able to remember 10th standard or maybe 5th standard when I went to the assembly, some teacher insulted me. That feelings you will be able to remember so clearly, right? The exact place, the exact time, what they said, how you felt. How does it happen? It's because all those things are stored in the limbic brain. The emotions are all stored there. And the last is the cognitive brain, which is the reasoning. Why should we do all those things are? So the cognitive brain has a very, very clear way of reasoning things, and that is the major portion is the cognitive brain. So what normally happens is, when we face some problem, if you don't give any time and react immediately, the reptilian brain is the major force, right? You do something without any thought, right? No forethought, nothing. But again, some more time, maybe you may link it to the emotions, right? But if you still give some more time, it goes to the cognitive brain, and then you decide, okay, this is not. So for example, somebody hits me, then the first thing happens is I try to retaliate, but I slow down, and then the next happens is the limbic brain. Okay, he has hit me, okay, and in front of, say for example, in front of 50 people he has hit me. So emotions, it tells you, you're all these people, next time when you go out, they will be making fun of you. That's the emotions portion is telling you. But again, if you give some more time to the cognitive brain, what is this? Yeah. So let them say. But if I react in this place, again that could lead to a much more problem, and I could lead. So all this reasoning happens because you are giving time to the cognitive brain. So most of the things we react either with the reptilian brain or with the limbic level. So the handling emotions is the best way of handling is to give time to the cognitive brain. And when you give time, yes, so many things happen. Even, there is normally in our old traditions and all, when somebody comes from outside, they will come panting. And the first thing our ancestors and all our elders, tell them is, give them a cup of water, right? So water, we may think that it's a very normal gesture, but in that time, maybe they have come very angrily. They have not attended a marriage, so they have come to fight with you. And then the moment they drink, what happens is from the reptilian action, it goes to the limbic and then to the cognitive. Oh, they gave water. And slowly you are slowed down, your brain has slowed down, and then now you try to reason it out. Okay, after all, they are so nice people, so why should I fight with them? Your total mind changes. So the secret behind handling emotions is giving time to the cognitive brain. Is a wonderful part of our brain, right? It is there. It's our best defense mechanism, but very often we don't give time for that, right? So we try to act either based on emotions or based on the reptilian reflex actions, right? And that lands us in so much of trouble. So for example, I think it was about 2 months back, something happened when I was boarding a train in Pazhavanangal railway station. I stay in Nanganallur, and Pazhavanangal, I was waiting in the queue to take the ticket. It was at that time this UTS, the UTS app is very good, but the problem is it will not work near the station. So if you go near the station, you have to go and buy the ticket. There is a inherent, they have got some system in that. So this person, he's having a coat, tie and all, and then he is buying a first class ticket. He's just one step ahead of me. And the counter person was asking him, have you got the Aadhaar card? So, he was in a hurry, and then he picked up his purse. He showed the Aadhaar card. ID proof he was asking, he showed his Aadhaar card, and he said, the counter person said, sir, this is not original. You have given me a copy. I need the original to issue here. He wants a season ticket pass, first class season ticket pass. He said, no, it's not a original. Then he said, okay, I'll give you, do you have some other ID? Again he picked and showed another ID, and that also he said, sir, this is also not the original. So again maybe the third he tried, and then that was also not accepted. The moment the third ID was not accepted, he grew so angry, he just threw his purse. And he said, you take it, whatever document you want, you take it. So the person at the counter was shocked. And he said, I was there. And he said, sir, I am a government servant. And our rule says that I have to accept, I need some document, original document. So why do you shout with me, sir? And he said, no, there was some argument was there. And he couldn't get the season ticket, and finally he went. And I was also in the first class compartment. I was seeing him. He was shivering. He was holding his. He was standing. There was a queue, and then he was standing there shivering. And just imagine, he goes to office, and then all this anger is going to pass it on to somebody, right? So all these things could have been avoided if you had given time to the cognitive brain, right? So after all, this person is asking the original ID, which is as per the government rule. He is not doing any harm to you. He didn't do that, right? So this is what happens in most of the cases. Now, if you look at our colored brain, the red brain, so they need more of logic, right? So they ask here. They take the decisions to the cognitive brain, and the blue brain, they operate more at the limbic level because of the emotions. Right, so the reptilian, maybe the green to some extent, immediate actions, right? So the more and more time we give, we are able to come out with better decisions, better actions, better management of emotions. All right. So how do we develop ideas? So now we saw the different types of brains. We saw the plus points, minus points. So how do we find out whether what is our real brain color? Some of you said it could be a combination, right? A combination, right? So how do we find it out? There is a psychometric test. I did a program in Indonesia. It was a 1-week program called as DC Psychology. One of that is this colored brain module. There are other modules are there. One module is colored brain. There is a psychometric test is there on coloredbraincommunication.com. And if you go there, but it's payable. There is a charge is there. It's about $18 for the test. And if you go do the test and answer all the questions exactly as per the pattern there, without any imagination, we have to do it exactly like what we do normally do. And then you will find the graph. And the graph, that is what I was telling, like many of you mentioned that I'm a combination. So the graph will give you, and for your information, I'm also a red brain. I did the test, and then mine is red brain, and it was tallying with all these explanations. And the graph will give you what is your dominant brain. So for example, red brain, there is a score for each color of brain. When I say red brain, I'm not 100% red brain. I'll be having 70 of red and maybe 30 of purple, 10 of green, 10 of blue. So this is the combination. So the combination means you have one dominant brain, which is the natural processor of your brain. Right? That's the dominant brain. But you also have other shades. Right? So that's why sometimes we tend to switch roles from a green to thing, and that's the that's our the way we are wired. Right? So this is how you will get the scoring if you are doing the test. Right? So without the psychometric test, can we find out? Again, you will have to ask yourself this question: how do I develop my ideas? Suppose a new project is given, do I immediately jump into action? Then possibilities are you are a green brain. And if I am asking lots of questions before starting, then I am a red brain. If I am asking lot of information, then I am a purple brain, right? So you can easily identify what type of brain you are. And you really look at the first question. If you are asking, okay, I'm put into this project, who are all the other people who will be in the team? Then you are most likely a blue brain, because you care about the people, the emotions, feelings, environment. So you are more likely a blue brain person. So this is how you can really find it out. But the thing is, I think some of you said that they will be successful. Blue brain will be successful as a leader, or they may make mistakes. Like lots of things we were saying. No. So these are the misunderstandings which we have about the other brains. So now tell me, which brain do you think is the best brain of the four brains?
Combination of all.
Combination of all?
Yep.
Okay.
With a predominant of red, which is more...
Predominant of red, okay. Any other answers? Combination of red and purple, okay.
Depends upon the nature of work.
Intuitive brain, more
Okay. Intuitive. Fine. The answer is all brains are the best. There is nothing like good brain, bad brain. All are best. But each has a strength, right? And each has a weakness. So example, you have a Ferrari and a Maruti Suzuki car. Okay. So Ferrari, I want to travel from Chennai to Bangalore, or maybe I want to go. I may go at 140 kilometers or 160 kilometers, and I go there. But if I ask, what are the places you visited? I don't know. I started from Chennai and I landed in Bangalore. Now come back to this Maruti Suzuki. So they may go at 80, 90, right? They may reach their destination slightly later. And if you ask them all the details, yeah, I remember everything, because I know there is a tea shop, 30th kilometer there is a tea shop, 60th kilometer there is an A to B. Yeah, all these details they will be able to give, because so that's their strength, right? So there is nothing like superior, there is nothing like inferior. All the brains are equal. And there are CEOs who are businessmen, CEOs with all the four brain colors who have been successful, right? So what is the secret then? So anybody can be with any brain, and you will be able to shine, provided we are aware of our weaknesses, right? So a green brain, for example, so the best thing is to realize that when you work in a team, I'm a green brain. So take, for example, as a leader, so I think some of us are mentioning as a leader, I'm a leader and I'm a green brain, so I tend to do in a certain way, right? So when we said the glass we saw, right? If I wear a red glass, everything will be appearing to me as a red world. But I should remember that there are other people who are wearing green, other people who are wearing purple, right? So then they may look at the world in a different way. Okay, so when we realize that people are unique, so we talk about diversity and inclusion. This is all about D&I. Okay, so we know that there are different people, different characteristics. So as a green brain, I tend to ask a red brain. Somebody is in your office, maybe you may not remember these terms like red, green and all, but somebody, I am impulsive, but I have a person who is in the office who is very, very systematic. So ask him. So, I tend to do like this. What is your suggestion? So when you ask them, you may or may not accept the inputs. But the thing is now you get one more clarity. You get a clarity from that person on what could go wrong, right? Now you implement that, then that's what people are saying, a combination. So combination, you are a green brain, you have your own strengths. So don't compromise on that because that's your core strength, right? But you also counter check with somebody else. So that helps you to overcome all the problems. So a green brain, red brain. Similarly, a purple brain person. So a purple brain person in HR is really very good, right? So HR person, because they care for the feeling. So imagine there is a red brain in the HR department. Somebody says, your HR, because they are very, very, that's why we said they are very, very objective, not subjective. So a person they are going to sack because the office is not doing well, and that person says, sir, don't sack me now, at least give me 2 months because I've got so much of responsibilities. Red brain, no. Logic means logic. Instruction means instruction. So they will not be able to compromise. But a blue brain person, because they can connect at the heart level, they can connect, and they will go and then fight with the CEO, says, sir, it's a very, very pathetic situation. We have to help that person. That is what the blue brain person will say. So blue brain there, but again, all blue brain in the HR department means you will miss all the pay structures, everything. So you need again a combination, right? So okay, now coming to the look at the house. In the house, we may be a red brain, your wife may be a green brain. So there could be a combination. We don't understand this, and because of that, there are so many emotional turmoil. It happens not only at the office, it happens at the house level also. See, for example, I had a house in Nanganallur, and it was a 2-bedroom flat. I wanted to dispose that and buy a 3-bedroom flat. So this is, as a red brain person, I need to go step by step. So the plan is to buy a 3-bedroom, sell the 2-bedroom, get some money out of that, add some more money from the savings, step by step approach. And my wife is a blue brain person, so she also did the test, and she said, no, don't sell that house because emotions. She says, no, that house is a very, very lucky house, don't sell that. So I said, okay, I fully appreciate that, but again, tell me how we will raise the money. That I don't know, right? Because as a blue brain, this is what the blue brain thing is, because they are not concerned about the logic. They are more connected with more worried about the emotions and the feelings, the environment, all those things. Then finally, because we knew that, she's a blue brain, otherwise normally, it tends to a big argument, and it goes out of the room, and then sometimes it could even explode. We finally sat together, mutually discussed, and finally we agreed, and the flat was sold, and I bought a 3-bedroom flat. So this is what happens when, and in an earlier program, somebody was telling that the father is I think he's a red brain person, so he insists on logic. And the daughter is she's an entrepreneur, a big entrepreneur. I think this was in Salem. So she said, every time she wanted to do something as a green brain person, her dad was objecting. And because dad wants the logic, tell me why do you want to do this and all those things. And they were always fighting every day. Now she said at the end of the program, no, today onwards, when my dad says, I will not argue. Right? I will understand. Now I understand him better because he is wired that way. Right? So that is the strength of knowing about the different types of brains. So what are the gains that we make? We understand our own core strengths. We understand others in a better way. We can handle emotions in a much, much better way. So less stress. Because all this stress happens because of so many assumptions. Now all these assumptions, I have to be there at 8:33. So like that I make an assumption. 9 o'clock is fine, but you may have a level, an assumption that only if I am 8:33 at the office, I am a perfect person. So that is an assumption you have made. Now all those assumptions slowly, when you start removing, then you are less stressed, right? Your relationship increases, and finally, you have not only professional success but successful personal life also. right? Thank you so much. And any doubts? Anything?
One comment.
Yeah. Thank you. Now the floor is open for any questions.
Any questions, please?
Yes.
Sir, any questions or anything, please talk to the mic.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, it was a very nice presentation. Even though I am a green outside, but inside I am red brain. Okay, that is one. Actually, you are given every person is going to have some combination of brains with predominant, as what is said. So how it's valid? Like somebody in anger or something scolding, you have no brains. That means will it become valid anytime? Because there is going to be some part of brain, but somebody is just uttering. You have no brains at all.
That is what our the brain we saw, no, the cognitive brain. And when we are so angry, when we react immediately, it goes up to that the reptilian level or the limbic level. So we need to give time for the brain to react. So if you give time and then it goes to the cognitive level, yes, yeah.
Okay. So normally we have read about right brain and left brain.
Correct.
So how do we relate that to the 4 color brains? People say this is creative and this is logical. I've got 3 questions if I can ask.
Okay.
This is one.
Second
thing is the brain formation, you are saying genetically we are all given with some brain.
Yes.
Can that be altered?
So genetically we come with a certain, like for example our blood group, it's a genetic thing, right? So this genetic means it could be from your father or maybe your grandfather or the previous also. There is a trait.
Or karma. We don't know.
So all this has been done because by taking samples of so many people, they did the research and it has been validated by American Institute of I think AIOBP. So they have validated all the study and they've taken a wide sample. And so they found that it's the genetic trait is there. Now the question on, can it be altered, right? So like the software, with the software we are able to get the better output from the hardware. Now I may be a green brain, or as Sir said, he may be a red brain, but now that he knows, right, okay, consciously now that he knows that because I am red brain, I may be not sensitive to the feelings of the other people, or I may not be able to act very fast. So now consciously you are trying to build the skill, which is a soft skill, right? So with that, you will be able to overcome that.
So through conditioning, you are saying
through conditioning, yes. Through conditioning, definitely it is possible, but there is an awareness. But left to you, suppose, for example, you are a left-handed cricket player, okay? So in the team, the Indian team, they said, unless you play right hand, you will not be given a chance. So he may play right hand. But suddenly one day, you give him a chance to play left hand, he will be very happy. Because that is his natural thing. Just like a fish finding its water, he will be very, very comfortable in playing that, right? Because that's the natural thing to him. So same way, the people's, if they are given the option or if they are given the freedom, they will choose their normal brain. But because of office conditioning, office pressure, office demands, they may try to act in some other brain thing.
So my last question.
Yeah.
Based on my individual experience, I found majority of the problems that we face, at least I faced, is basically because of impatience, anger,
correct,
and bias.
Yeah.
Whatever you try to do, that bias comes for some reason.
Correct.
And you try to eliminate that bias, it does not happen, and that causes a lot of problems.
Right.
And second thing is impatience. Third is anger.
True.
This anger is one thing that spoils everything in the office, workplace, elsewhere. While coming also, there was a problem on the road. 2 angry people were fighting for nothing. This fellow was continuously honking. That man says, why are you honking? He says, you get out of the road. He is saying, where will you go out? They are shouting and we have to come here on time.
Correct.
Anger for road rage for nothing.
Yeah. So that is because of the lack of
emotional... So this I also experienced many times now. Through conscious conditioning, I'm trying to eliminate all this.
True.
So I thought I'll check with you. Does research show anything or say anything?
It is basically our emotional awareness. So once you are aware, in fact, Viswanathan Anand, when he was talking in MMA, he was telling, initially I didn't have. Something happens in the airport, I'll get so irritated and that will affect my performance. So he says, consciously, I try to find out the triggers. Okay, if this happens, I lose my control. So that is the emotional awareness. So emotional intelligence, when we have a one-day workshop and all, no, that is what we talk about. So you are consciously aware of the triggers, and then you try to control your thing. So that is really. And regarding you are asking the left brain, right brain. So this has nothing to do with the left and right. So this is only about how the 4 different types. This is the how part, and then their brain gets damaged, then the structure gets changed. So physical change. So that they have found out through research. When they get some damage, completely it gets altered.
One thing is very evident while you are talking, I could sense personally. Mothers are the great people who are handling all these 4 brains together and handling the house.
Yeah, so they're quite intuitive.
They know what to do.
True.
And finally they'll get the end result. Let's say, don't go and ask him money.
Exactly, correct.
You leave it to me, I'll talk to him when he's watching the news or having I'll get the
so they know the thing. And sir,
when somebody is coming, you stay away, you don't be there in the place, you get out first. That itself will solve the problem. You being there only is the main problem, you go. Then there won't be any problem, the person will come and go.
Fine, correct. Yeah. True.
We not even have to talk. Problem better you go. Then things will be.
Yeah, that's the emotional intelligence, right? Yeah, that is EI, correct.
How mothers have got it.
Correct. And if the husband comes out from the office, he may not say anything. But even his face will not show anything, but says he will say something has happened in your office. Correct. Keep away. Yeah. That's
love and affection, but
true.
That means a lot.
Yeah, true.
I don't know how they have mastered it. I'm just able to recollect how they deal.
Yeah, Kupuswamy sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank
Topic is very interesting, and we made an incisive analysis.
Thank you.
But one thing I want to say, brain and mind, I can say in this topic is synonymous. Okay, and I say of all these colors and whatever you are telling, with my limited knowledge of spirituality, I say spiritual brain is the best brain, or spiritual mind I can say, because mind that is expanded, it will accommodate, it will become very flexible. Any color, whatever you may assign.
True.
So, spiritual brain, spiritual mind, I won't call it as brain. Brain again you may say medical sense. Okay, spiritual mind, expanded mind, it will adjust to the situation. You may call red, you may call blue or anything you will get. So, best way getting the correct mind is spirituality.
Correct. True. And when you talk about the spirituality, again, if you link it back to all the 4 brains, somebody who is a green brain person, if he wants to go on a spiritual journey, he will go to so many places, right? Immediately he will go to Himalayas, he will go to another place, and then from that he will gain the spiritual knowledge.
He will adjust everywhere.
He will
adjust everywhere. He will not
learn. Yeah, he will learn spirituality, taking action. For the red brain person, if you say something, he will not accept. He will say, why? Why should I do this? Right? The spiritual knowledge they gain by asking questions. They need clarity, right? For the purple brain, they need to lead from the Mahabharata, this thing, the Quran, everything they will read, data. Then finally they will get that spiritual wisdom, the light, everything. This is how they will get, right?
But what I am trying to say is, expanded mind, is the crux of the situation.
Spirituality also you can look at it as a way of conditioning.
Right. Yeah. But again, so what we are not saying spirituality is good or bad and all, but how do we get that? Yeah, how do we get that mind? So even spirituality, the way the four brains, the way they approach it will be different.
So once you become aware of the brain color, once you become aware, so one is self-awareness, like you told me, just judge yourself and all. So it is, you can also do external things like NLP or clinical things to condition that? Yeah,
definitely. So any knowledge is welcome, right? So you keep on adding to your software, right? So that's the advantage of that. And once again, coming back to this, how they learn, we saw the different methodologies. Okay, so if a green brain wants to learn NLP or something, they want more of practical oriented. So if you conduct a workshop for a green brain, you should have lots of activities. That's why in a training program we have activities. We have got So because all 4 brain will be there, so we have to cater to all the 4 people.
And for a team to succeed, we should have some mix of
combination.
brain.
True.
That is also required.
Yes. Especially for a project. So we were discussing, I think so somebody was telling a project. So a green-brained project manager with a red-brained planner and a purple-brained maybe a programmer and all, that will be a best combination, because the green-brained person takes the things forward. Okay, so yeah.
Sir, last question. We will discuss over dinner.
Okay.
Sir, there is a correlation between the IQ. If so, what is the ranking of your color brain?
Again, IQ and the colored brain.
Color brain.
IQ and colored brain, there is no correlation.
No correlation.
Because somebody with a very high IQ can be a green brain. He can be a red or any color, right? So IQ and
this is
this no correlation.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. To now felicitate our illustrious speaker for the day, Mr. V. Viswanathan, we now request Mr. K. Dayalan, immediate past chairman, IIF Southern Region, to felicitate him with a Angavastram, please. And now to felicitate our speaker with a memento, we now request Mr. K. Varadarajan, past chairman, IIF Chennai chapter, to felicitate the speaker with a memento. Thank you, sir. Gentlemen, we have had a very interesting and knowledgeable program today on the topic Handling Emotions, a Colored Brain Approach. We are sure the content of the talk had a lot of takeaways for our audience. It was indeed a very interactive and interesting program with different types of brains and how it determines the way people act and perform. So we would like to thank our speaker for the day, Mr. V. Viswanathan, consultant and corporate trainer, for taking time off his schedule and making us rich with knowledge. Further, we would like to thank all the members who joined us today, both from the Institute of Indian Foundrymen and also from the Madras Management Association. Thank you very much. I am sure it was a wonderful learning experience for you. And thank you for joining us on time and being such a wonderful audience. We from Chennai chapter will be conducting many such interesting programs. We'll be sharing information with you at the earliest and requesting you to be part of them very soon. So thank you so much once again. Thank you, sir. And thanks to everyone who have joined us.